Hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Gene Curl, and today I'm going to be reading my mission journal that I kept for a mission while I was a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This is my last mission journal for my mission. As you can see, I was thinking heavily about hunting when I put this journal together. I'm just going to start off where I left off in the last episode. Wednesday, the 10th of November, 2004. It was clear the early part of the day, and overcast most of the rest of the day. Heavy rain after dark, light wind, hot. At district meeting, Elder M., the district leader, asked us to give a training at the last district, asked me to give a training at last district meeting of the transfer. I agreed because I thought that it would be kind of cool to speak at the district 2 days before I leave. After district meeting, we all had lunch at Wendy's. Elder H. and I tracted for a while and taught nothing. Then we met at the N family's house for a team-up. Elder H. went with Brother N, and I went with his son, Sean. Sean does not know most of the people that we tried to see, but it was good having him with me. I was also glad that he had a car so that we did not use all of our miles. As missionaries, we have ration miles, since the gas comes from tithing money. Sean and I visited the A family. I have been trying to be able to watch a video or have a discussion with them since I have been here, but they have always been a little standoffish. Last time that anyone taught them was about 3 months ago. We talked with Casey, the 16-year-old daughter, for a while, for a little bit, and then to Mrs. A came out to talk. It turns out that she, the mom, went to school with Sean's older brother, and that her husband was taught in school by Sean's mother. We talked for a while, and I got them laughing. Only Casey and Mrs. A was home. I told them that I go home in December and that I would like to visit with the whole family before I go. An appointment was set up for Friday, and we talked for a little while longer, and then I shared a spiritual story. I had a lot of fun talking to the A family, and before we left, I asked if there was anything that I could do for them. Mrs. A's reply was, "You made us laugh, and that is enough." This was the best visit that I have ever had with them. And part of the reason is because Sean, Ian was there. But also because I built a relationship of trust by telling them a little about my family and about how much I love the people of Hawaii. We visited Carlton, and he said that he tried to call and cancel our appointment, but our answering machine would not work, and since we were already there, he decided to meet with us. We read from the Book of Mormon. We read from the Book of Alma in the Book of Mormon, and I taught him about prophets and obeying or praying, paying heed to what they say. The meeting with Carlton went well, but he had a question that he kept starting to ask and then would change his mind. I tried to get him to tell me, but he would not. I told him that I would like him to share, but that he did not have to, if he didn't want to. The appointment that I set up with the A family was at the same time that I set up to do service for the K family, so we stopped by Sister Super J's, and I told them that we would have to reschedule with them, and went back to the N family's house for dinner. After dinner, I shared a message about asking the Lord's help, and then left my book that I have people write in for their family to write in for me. I don't know why, but it always seems like Elder H is upset, and when I ask him about it, he says that he is fine. Perhaps he is like my older sister, always unhappy no matter what, and always looking at the dark side of everything. I told him that if I ever upset him to let me know. I told him that I want to help him in every way possible to have a great transfer and a mission. I want to make this transfer the best transfer for both of us. So far, the transfer has been very good. Even though we have not been teaching lots, we have been teaching regularly. I don't really have anything to complain about this transfer. Thursday, the 11th of November, 2004. Mostly clear, hot, light wind. This morning at 9, we were supposed to meet a lady named Chrissy at the church. Around 9:45, it became apparent that she was not coming. I called Tui to make sure that he was going to be there so that we didn't have to drive all the way to Millie for nothing. After I called Tui, we went and picked up Brother H and drove to Millie. When we met Tui, we read a little from the Book of Mormon with him, and then he went down to the beach to see if his daughter wanted to sit in on the lesson. She said that she did, but then she never came up. When we asked Tui if he would be baptized, he said, "Again?" So we talked about the falling away and the restoration again and told him that only the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has the authority to baptize people. Brother H told him about how he used to be Methodist, but when he prayed about it, he found out that this church was the only true church. We set up another appointment, and before we left, Tui thanked us for always driving all the way down just to see him. On the way home, we visited an active lady named Winfred and set up an appointment to teach her the discussions. Again, after we dropped Brother H off at his house, we had a very late lunch at the pad and put on our suits since we likely would not have a chance to do it later. When we went to see Stephanie, she said that she had to reschedule, which we did. Stephanie is the last active member who until last month had not been to church since she was 12, and she is in her 30s now. We dropped by Sister Y's house because she had signed up for dinner for today. She just gave us money to eat. We tried to see an old investigator, but the address that we had for her was bogus. We met the C family at 1630 to ride with them to the Kona temple. When we got to the temple, Bishop A said that he might like me and Elder H to do a little initiatory work until the temple session. I told him that I would do whatever he wants me to do. "I love this guy," he said. "Come back after your mission." I said that I might, but I would have to wait and see which way the wind blows me. There were not enough brethren, so Elder H and I had to be the witnesses for the youth baptisms. When Brother W would baptize the young men, water would splash out of the font because he was so rough with them. After the baptism, we went through the endowment session. The last time that I went through the temple session was September of last year, while I was with Elder J in Kapolei. On the way home, the C family decided to go through the drive-thru at Wendy's, and this was the worst experience that I have ever had at a fast food. The help was not friendly. They messed up our order and left us sitting in the drive-thru window for about 45 minutes. Brother C was pretty upset about the whole thing, and when they gave us no straws, he said, "Hey buddy, can we get some straws over here?" Well, anyhow, we got back to our pad at 22:20, and when I called President, he was not upset and thanked me for calling. Early this morning, a member whom I didn't know called and asked us to come to dinner with him tomorrow night. He told me where he lives, but would not tell me his name, only that he is Brother W's brother-in-law. He is kind of the joking kind. He said the last time he had elders over was 6 months ago. I think it is pretty cool that he would just call us out of the blue, and I had been talking to him. When I told Elder H about it, he said, "That's not cool. What if he's not really a member?" I told him that it does not matter if in the slightest if he is a member or not, and knowing his name is not the most important thing at this point. Friday the 12th of November 2004. Clear, hot, light wind. We met the A family at their house at 9 and taught them about the apostasy and the restoration and why our church is the only one with authority to baptize. Just before we taught, one of the H boys showed up. Out of all the family, the one that is the most interested is Casey. Mrs. A said that she knows that the Book of Mormon is true, but she will continue to go to her Hawaiian Congregational Church. Casey also said that she knows the Book of Mormon is true. I asked them to read 2 Nephi 31 and pray about it, which they said they would. I then asked if they would come to our church if they felt good when they prayed about it, and they said that they would think about it. I think that they know the church is true, and they don't want to know that it is true because they don't want to change their lifestyle, etc. Mrs. A loves Christmas and already has a tree up. I wore my Christmas tie this morning and said when I saw her, "I wore this tie just for you." Yep, the visit with the A family went well, but the rest of the day was kind of a wash. This was the longest day that I have had in a long time. Almost everyone that we tried to see was not home, and the ones that were home told us that they were busy. We didn't even meet very many people while tracting. Around midday, we stopped to see the K family, and while talking about his son, Brother K said that he almost wishes that he had not went on a mission so that he could finish school faster. I was shocked. This was the first time that I've ever heard an active member say anything like that. I guess that some members are not seeking the kingdom of God first. We went to see Brian W., an inactive member, but we saw the bishop was talking to him, so we left unnoticed. When we showed up for dinner at the guy's house who called us yesterday and walked up the steps, it was a little weird because the house was so elaborate, the lighting was low, and the opera music was playing. At first he told us his name was Brother H. So when he asked me to bless the food, I mentioned his name in the prayer, and afterwards he told me that his name is Ray D., Reuben's brother. He is the stake executive secretary. He cooked us Japanese food and made us eat a lot more of it than we wanted to. I hate mushrooms, and he put lots of them in my plate, so I just ate them and said nothing about it. Elder H was worried the whole time and thought that he was up to something sinister. He has been worried about it since the call yesterday. At 20:30, we met the other elders at McDonald's for a team-up. Elder M came with me in my area, and Elder H went with Elder C to their area. Elder M told me that Elder H told Elder S's companion that he has been the 2 longest weeks of his life. I really don't know why. Maybe he is having a hard time adjusting to mission life. Saturday, the 13th of November, 2004. Clear, mostly hot, light wind. This morning I had the hardest time finding effective things to do. The last 30 minutes before lunch I spent calling people, and in the most part, not too much came from it, except that I got an appointment with Kyle for Monday night. After lunch, we went to see John M. and talked to him for a little while. He told us to call him on Tuesday to see if we can meet with him. We tried to see Adam, and he told us to try tomorrow. We visited Brother H briefly, and he almost spilled the beans about us going to the temple on Thursday. Not that it would be super bad, but if Elder N knows, then the whole zone will know. We tracked it for about an hour and taught nothing. We came back to the pad at 1800 for dinner. Sister P dropped off dinner to us. After dinner, we visited the M family and watched a restoration video, then invited Brother M to church because he ain't been in a long time. We then visited Brian W. and Stephanie P., both less active members. We met the other elders at McDonald's, and they were a little late, and while we were waiting, we met and taught a man named Brian. He actually came up to us to talk. After we finished talking to Brian, we switched back, and Elder H came back with me. I got very upset with Elder M today because while I was driving, he would grab the wheel or try to change gears. I told him that if he did not quit, he would likely make us wreck. The only thing that upsets me more while driving than backseat drivers is people trying to play with the controls of the car. Well, the important thing is we made it through the day alive. We even had a pretty good day. Imagine that. The C family boy was supposed to go with us today, but he dogged us, which was completely expected, as that is what he always does to me. Sunday, the 14th of November, 2004. Mostly cloudy, heavy rain after church, light wind. Days like this make me wish that I were home already. Today, as the most part, showed that Murphy's Law is true. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong. No one that said they would come to church today did. No one signed up for dinner, and no one was home when we went to visit them. Actually, I have very mixed feelings about going home. I mean, I'll be glad to go home and get on with my life, especially the days like this. And I will be glad to have freedom to go places by myself and go out on dates, listen to country music, and go to bed as early or stay up as late as I want. But at the same time, I will miss the people here in Hawaii, and I'll miss the respect that I get from members just because I'm on a mission. And I'll miss being able to help people every day. I will miss a lot of things about being on a mission, but I also don't want to go home because I have a fear of the unknown, and I am trying not to be scared, but I don't know what to do after my mission or even where to go. Here I know exactly what is expected of me, and I do it. Back home, it's all up to me, and I am worried that if I choose wrong course in life, that I will not be putting myself in the place that I want to be or where the Lord wants me to be, and waste a couple of years of my life. But I should not worry about it, and always remind myself that if I remain faithful, the Lord will bless me and guide me, as it says in Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not into thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Church was pretty good today. While standing outside greeting people as they walk in church, I saw Brian W. drive by with his shirt and tie on. He did not look at the church, but kept his eyes fixed straight ahead and did not slow down. Last night he said that he would come to church, as did Stephanie P., his neighbor. But neither of them came. Carlton said that he would come, but did not. It does not happen very often, but today it did. The High Council speaker gave a good, interesting talk. I was asked to teach the Gospel Principles class today, and I made everyone sing the start and end of the class. After church, we studied our scriptures at the pad for a while. When I was reading the Book of Mormon, I felt as I would fall asleep and did not fight it and slept for about 30 minutes. Oops. Brother C picked us up at 1500 and we went to Middle of the E to have a little sacrament meeting. We also had a brother that came to church today for the first time in a long time. He said that he does not know why he came to church today because he has not been in a long time and had a party that he was supposed to go to today. I told him that he made the right decision by coming today. At the meeting, I blessed the sacrament and Elder H talked. After the meeting, Brother H rode with us to the church and we gave him a ride home. We had an appointment with Adam D, but they were not home. We had an appointment with Adam and Dominique, but they were not home. And from then on out, the day was a complete wash. Since we did not have dinner, we came home at 2000 for dinner. We really did not have anything to eat, so I just ate raisins. Monday the 15th of November 2004. Overcast most of the day. Light rain in the evening, hot light wind. This morning we went fishing with Brother L from the Kailukio ward, along with Elder N, Elder C, Elder O, and Elder S. Everyone caught something except for Elder H, who did not fish. He just drew pictures while the rest of us fished. We caught a lot of weird little fish with sharp teeth and bright colors. One fish that Elder O caught tried to bite me as I took it off the hook. I don't remember how many fish I caught. I just remember that it was fun and I had a really good time. When we got back to our area, we cleaned up and then we went to the post office so I could pick up my package. The package that I picked up was the scriptures that I ordered for a less active member. We then went shopping, and I believe that this is the last time that I will buy food while on my mission, because it should last me until I am through. I wrote a letter to my mother, to the B family, and to my ward, the University 8th Ward. I received a letter from my mother today. We went to the A family for dinner, and they gave us money for dinner because Sister A was too tired to cook. We ate at Subway. We were supposed to be at the church to meet Kyle I at 1930, but we were there a little early. Brother A was there doing paperwork, so we talked to him until Kyle showed up. Kaiway Ian came as a fellowshipper, which I think really helped Kyle. Kyle's big concern is that his mother will not approve of him learning about or going into a church with the Mormons. Most of the time we talked about his parents, what he might say to them, and what their response might be. We also talked about prayer and committed him to pray about it. When I first came out, I thought that classical music was okay. After a while, I thought that it was tolerable, and now I almost can't stand it, and part of the reason is Elder H. If I leave the CD player alone for a minute, he will put in some classical music, usually the same CD, and it is driving me crazy. I don't want to hear any more classical music. I gave almost all my classical CDs to Elder H because I ain't going to listen to them when I get home. Tuesday, the 16th of November, 2004. Mostly clear, but there was a little light rain in the evening, hot with the ever slight breeze. This morning we taught Peter H. He read everything that we asked him to and seemed to understand it and even kind of believe it. He was raised Catholic, but later in life he switched to some Eastern religion and now believes that Christ was no different than Buddha or anyone else. Just a great teacher. He does not believe that Jesus was the literal Son of God or that he died for our sins. We had a good conversation. I told him what we believe and listened to what he believes. He wants to meet again but does not know when he can yet, so I told him I'd call him in a few days. He wants us to help with service, and I said that we would. I just hope the president lets us. After Peter, we were supposed to see Carlton, but he canceled because he said he was sick. So I am not sure if he was really sick or if he is just trying to avoid us again. Since Carlton canceled, we ate lunch and had week plan. Most of the people that we tried to see between week plan and dinner were not home. We had dinner with the C family. Since this will be the last dinner at their house, I had them all write my book and had my picture taken with them. As kind of a going away gift, they gave me a necklace made out of tusks from a wild boar. Sister C asked us to teach seminary tomorrow because she will be gone. We gladly agreed. After we left the C family, we dropped by Adam and then went home to study for seminary. Wednesday, the 17th of November, 2004. Partly cloudy, light rain, hot, light wind. This morning we taught seminary. I had Elder H teach the first part, but he taught more than I asked him to. He covered part of my stuff, and it took a lot of my time. I taught the second part of the lesson. After seminary, we changed and ate breakfast, and we went to the K family farm to help Brother K. We helped mark the spots for plants and dig holes for them. Digging holes is pretty much consisted of removing a few rocks and then throwing a soil compost mix into the hole, so the plants will have something to grow in. We helped until about noon, and then we came home to clean up and study a bit, as well as eat lunch. We had an appointment with the A family, but they canceled, so we cleaned the truck for inspection tomorrow. We picked up Brother H and met Brother Ian at the church for the team-ups. Brother Ian took Elder H with him, and Brother H came with me. Brother H and I did not have very much success catching people home, and the people that we did catch said that they were busy. We got back to the Ian family house a little early, but we waited until Brother Ian and Elder H got there to eat. Tuesday, the 18th of November, 2004. Mostly clear, hot, light wind. We were supposed to teach John M. the stop smoking program this morning, but behold, when we showed up, he sleepeth. So we dropped by Carlton's to read the Book of Mormon with him. We picked up Brother H at his house at 11 and drove to Mililii to teach Tui. On the way down, we got caught behind a semi-truck hauling a huge tractor going about 15 miles an hour and was behind him for about half of the journey, which made us late to see Tui. We talked to Tui about prophets and the word of wisdom. Brother H was a big help to Tui when he asked him if he had lived the word of wisdom by giving up cigarettes, his only vice. He asked for time to think about it, and I told him that praying about it would even be better. On the way back to drop off Brother H, a dumb guy passed us in the no passing zone and almost got himself killed in the process. As soon as we dropped off Brother H, we had to go to the Stake Center for interviews with President Hawkins. We were late in arriving because we got caught behind a school bus. Yep, not my lucky day. President Hawkins told me that if I get trunky, he will kick my butt up to my ears. We talked about all of my investigators, the area, etc. He asked what I want to accomplish before I go home, so I told him that I'd like to see Kyle get baptized. We also talked about my training Elder H. When we got back to our area, we talked with Brother K and then went to dinner with the M family. Since this was my last dinner with them, I took pictures with them and had them write in my book. After dinner, we tried to see a few people and then went home about 20 minutes early because Elder H thought that he might puke. I spent the remainder of the time making phone calls and updating the area book. I think I should tell Elder H that we're supposed to stay in our whites until after we close the day. Friday the 19th of November 2004. Mostly clear and hot light wind. We met Elder H and Elder C at their pad around 8. Elder K, the new assistant to president, was also there. We all rode together in EM and Elder C's car to Waimea for the zone conference. On the way to Waimea, they stopped at the hospital to give one of their members a blessing. Zone conference was a lot shorter this time than it usually is because President had to fly back to Oahu around 1700 to meet Elder Coleman from the 70 for lunch. We had a Thanksgiving dinner that was prepared for us by the State Relief Society. President and even had the room decorated for Thanksgiving. After lunch, all of the Kona zone, including me, sang a special musical number. I remember my first zone conference when I saw the elders who would be going home give their testimony. I thought to myself, that day is so far away from me, and I felt as if it would never come. Well, this was my last zone conference, and that day did come. I bore my testimony with Elder H and Elder D. I love being on a mission, but I will also be glad to be home. Besides almost everything that is even a little fun brings enjoyment is getting taken away, such as games. All church music except for the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. Phone calls to past areas before you go home so members can meet you at the airport. Swap meet before you go home. And even the Polynesian Cultural Center will no longer be attended by missionaries on their way home. I have looked forward to going to the PCC my whole mission, and I am extremely grateful that I have the chance to do so. We got back to our area at 1800 and went to pick up our dinner from the H family, but did not eat it until around 2000. As we dropped off our food off of the pad, we went to see the S family, who are the older member couple. Then we saw the H family, and last we stopped by the K family. The K family and sister K was talking to me about what they think that I should do after my mission. I received a letter from my mother and a letter from Liz M. The funny thing about the letter from Liz is that her last letter is about 6 months ago or longer. She said that she was getting married, but her name is still M. Perhaps she did not get married. She did not say one word about it, one way or the other. If she indeed backed out of this, would be the second marriage that she has backed out of, and not with the same guy either. Well, that's it for this episode. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to comment down below, and I will either answer your questions in the next video or I'll answer them in the comments themselves. But I really appreciate you watching, and I will catch you in the next video.